What's up, Matt Johnson?
Ty Cobb, what's going on, my man? How are you today?
I'm great. Hey, welcome to the Triple Threat Vets podcast. What's we got going on today, Matt?
Oh, I mean, episode number 4. We're just continuing along. Today we get to meet another member of the crew. But I tell you what, it's been a long week. It's been a crazy week, but I can't wait to jump into this one. So for anybody that's out there watching right now, telling you right now, you need to go find somebody that you know, share this, and tell them to watch, because it's going to be a wild ride today. I promise you that. But without further ado, let's bring in our main man, the guy that, you know, he scratches the records and he keeps things live. We're going to be talking about my man, DJ Royalty. He's in the house today.
What's going on? What's up,
Scott?
What up?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, fellas?
Good. How about you?
Hey, man, doing all right. You guys looking good like always. Looking good like a bacon and egg sandwich. Looking good today.
I mean, I like that you went back to Sesame Street. You were in a turnover chain.
Hey, everything I learned from the streets, man. You know what I mean? That's
I'm
what
feeling
it is.
like it's back in 1986. I should be listening to stuff with the leather.
I mean, somebody had him rap last week, so now you know it's just going to elevate from there.
Yeah, it's going
Next
on.
week is going to have a tracksuit on. Watch.
I might have my dreads in next week.
Oh, y'all want to see Al? I think we got an Al around here.
Well, you guys already know Al's always late. He ain't never on time.
Well, you know, without further ado, I think it might be time to bring in the man of the hour, right? We've been, you know what I'm saying? We've been waiting for this guy. He came in and joined the Triple Threat podcast. It wouldn't be the same without him. You know what I mean? We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend. You know what I mean? Your hero, my hero, the world's hero, the Navy hero, my man, Big Al. Heroes in the house.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, you sexy ass bald guy?
Oh,
Just
Al,
another sexy bald guy. That's it.
Al, real
What's
quick,
up? Yeah.
before we get started, I heard just through the grapevine the other day that you have a special.
I didn't
treat
know it
for
was a
everybody
guy.
before
Oh,
we
never mind.
even
Okay.
Get started.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna start this podcast off right. I'm gonna do
Okay.
something special tonight, right? A little Patron.
Oh, yeah, Patron. A shot of Patron that's gonna be on.
I'm on budget, so I got the baby bottle. You know what I'm saying? I got child support check and all that good shit. So I'm gonna do a special shot for this podcast called a stunt man, just for y'all.
Okay, the stunt man.
So I'm gonna explain it.
Man.
So here's
Okay.
how it works. You're going to snort the salt, take
Huh?
that, and squirt this lime in your eye.
Wait a minute. One more time for those who might not.
We're going to snort the
This is
salt.
countdown. Something bad's about to happen, Scott.
So here we go, Scott. You ready?
Every time.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh! I don't believe you just did that, bro.
Oh,
Hey, I
my
didn't
God.
catch it either. I don't think everybody else caught it. I think you got to do it in the
Oh.
other eye.
Oh,
I
no,
think
they
they need
caught
to
it.
see it again.
I can't see right now. They caught it.
I'll give you a
Okay,
second
so-
to collect yourself there, Al.
Let me just put for the record here. Black guys don't do that kind of shit, man.
That's
Just, you know.
that's that
Real
real
white boy wasted right there.
that's white guy shit for real.
When you're
Hey.
bored on the back porch, everybody's like, we got to do something. And then
So
it's
look,
like,
Ty. So,
What is
you
that
know,
that keeps happening? What is that?
Because look, what I did, see when he takes those kind of shots like that, this is what happens at nighttime when he gets story time. Go ahead and hit that. Right.
Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. Mommy shark, mommy shark, mommy shark, mommy shark.
Daddy shark, daddy shark, daddy shark, daddy shark.
All right. Well, that's
When's your
our
album
show's
coming
over,
out, Al?
ladies and gentlemen. We'll see y'all next week.
Oh,
yeah, right.
all right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel that later.
Oh yeah, you're gonna.
Somebody said a
funny.
stunt man every 30 minutes. No.
Yeah, right.
Do you dye your beard like that? Yeah. So I told Matt the story about my beard. So what happens is I eat a lot of ass. So what happens is it keeps this part of your beard nice and dyed up. So if you got a white beard problem, bro, like I do, starting that.
Wow.
Right. Wow.
Chief
Well, I
Corona
tell you-
says that's why we have
Right.
safety briefings.
Absolutely.
absolutely. So today we're gonna jump right into it, Al. So today is all about you. We get to meet you. We get to know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
After you get done, like, I don't know, snorting salt out of your nose. I thought I had to go in there, but I mean, it's okay. We'll get there.
You see this fucking nose, bro?
Years and years of practice. I got it.
Whew.
I've seen it a couple times actually.
Wow.
So I'm very familiar.
I still don't believe I saw that. But
Oh no. Look, it's
I'm thoroughly impressed.
Maybe need a good party trick. You just invite Al over. He'll take care of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's jump into it. Al, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us about your story, what brought you in, and let everybody know even more about you.
Hey, Big Max, what's up? I see you. Hold on. I'm sorry, Hero.
No,
I had
I
to do
see him.
that.
I see him
You
on
know what I'm
there.
saying? Big Max, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? That's an Army cap for you there.
There you go.
I'm bringing them in. You know, I'm bringing them in from all over. But
I
that's
know,
Big Dog,
I'm pretty outnumbered here. I'm glad you brought in an army
that's
guy.
Big Dog Max, man. So, hey, what's up?
And you see my boy Juan Dobez over there too, John Brown.
Yeah, we got to give a shot because we're going to, Al, it's going to go down, but we're going to give a shot for some of the people that came in. So
Hey,
I see.
Al, you just got to let Alex know you got to go through puberty before your beard can grow like that. I'm just saying, like, he asked the question. We got to help him out.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Little weak self, little soft ass dude.
Yeah, shout out to Will.
Now for all the listeners, who is Alex out there?
Where's Alex?
Who is Alex, Al?
So he's my son. He's probably not mine. He's like 6'2", got long, luscious, beautiful hair, all nice and tan. But I claim him because he's successful. So I mean, for right now, and he's past the legal limit for me to have to write a child support check. So that's mine right now. We're good.
Man,
Right?
I love your comprehensive look into that.
That's for sure, for sure. You know,
go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, Al, the floor is
so
yours.
yeah, easy day. So I'll just kind of rewind. So came from a military family. My dad's retired Navy. He's the original OG Al, right? He joined the Navy, was in the Navy for a long time. Grew up all over the, military brat. Grew up all over the place, right? Spent most of my youth, right, probably in the. Oh, hey, what's up there, sir? Commander Yates on the call with us here. But spent most of my time in Jacksonville, Florida, as a kid growing up, and then my dad retired, and we moved to Columbus, Georgia, which is where I ended up enlisting. So graduated high school. My dad gave me that whole, there's two types of ships in life, right? Navy ships and scholarships kind of briefing. Didn't really have a plan. So I decided on a whim, I didn't even tell nobody I was doing it. Went down to the recruiting office and joined and called my pops from MEPS and was pretty much like, hey, Dad, he's like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, I'm in Atlanta at the MEPS. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm joining the Navy. I need you to help me pick a job. And this is where shit went wrong right then. I gave him all the jobs I qualified for. It wasn't much. My ASVAB score probably wasn't very high. So I had a couple of selections, and I told him there's this job they keep talking about being a CB. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. He's like, the only thing he said to me was, you don't get on ships and you always have cold beer. I was like, fuck it, where do I sign, right? So I joined the Navy, went to CMA school in Port Hueneme, and then went right to battalions, fresh out of school, right into battalion, which is where I met guys like Juan Dobez and some of the guys that are on here watching now. After school, like I said, I went to NMCB3, which is a construction battalion out of Hueneme. Somebody talking shit?
Alex said it's all fun and games till he comes inside.
Yeah, get his ass whooped too. Right? So, was in the battalion for a little bit as a construction mechanic, and was absolutely horrible at it. Right? Like I fake it till you make it. Right? My boots were shiny. I looked good. Right? So ended up getting selected to go into which I don't even know if it exists anymore. But I went to what was called CERT, the Special Engineer Reconnaissance Team. So I ended up going on my first deployment to Italy. Had a good old time in Sigonella, Sicily. Got back and then went to the CB's reconnaissance unit or reconnaissance team, and then went from there to Korea. Went to Pohang, Korea. Had a pretty good time there with old Juan Dobez. He's on here too. He's talking all that shit, but he remembers when he let me cut his hair one time and the clippers died. And that dude had a damn meltdown. Like you would have thought like I slept with his sister. Like that dude was all upset at me because his shit was fucked up. Like it's my fault. I'm not a barber, right? So after we were in Korea, and after Korea, we came back and ramped up for another deployment. When I was in the Seabees, we had some tough deployment schedules. It's pretty much like a 10 and 6 rotation. Ended up going to Guam with main body unit and with all the recon guys that were on the CERT team. And then we were actually prepping up to go to Operation Cobra Gold in Thailand. So, first thing I did, I went out and bought a box of condoms, some saran wrap, all the stuff, all the shit you take to Thailand. I was like, bro, I'm about to get my first lady boy. So we're prepped up, right? Get ready for Thailand. And then about a week before we were supposed to go to Thailand, our team got called up, and we ended up in Iraq. So went from Guam, which was awesome, to Ramadi, Fallujah. Ended up being there for about 18 months. So we did a full deployment and thought we were leaving, right? We were leaving, and all of a sudden they're like, nope, you're not going. So I ended up spending quite a bit of time in country, Fallujah, Ramadi. Me and Ty have talked about it. I've been all over Iraq with some of the baddest dudes on the planet. Gunny Brian Olea, Lonnie Martinez. You name it. There were some guys that I'd run through a wall with. Did that.
Lonnie Lochner, Brandon Hughes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some guys, names you'll never forget, right? So
right.
Come home after the deployment, go back to California, and then ended up in Navy recruiting, which was it wasn't my first choice in the beginning. You're right. They were like, you ain't got an option, go back to. So I ended up going to recruited in Columbus, Georgia. And then so I did NRD Atlanta, recruited in Columbus, went from Columbus to Noonan, Georgia, and then PCS went to CRF Academy to become a recruiter. So they taught me how to be a better liar, right? It's the truth. I had a guy named, I'll never forget it, Michael Swetnam, joined the Navy, called me years later. Was like, dude, you lied to me. You told me when I got on my first deployment, I would take a tennis ball and write my name on it and throw it into the crowds, and girls would get my tennis ball and call my name, and that was going to be my boo for the deployment. He was like, I was throwing tennis balls and wasn't nobody picking shit up. I was like, that's the story my dad told me, so I thought it was real, right?
You must have pulled in the wrong port,
Yeah,
bro. That
yeah.
just wasn't the one for the day. They must have been on the other pier. It's okay.
I see my boy John Brown. So John Brown was one of the guys who took me through the Chief season. So I do want to apologize, John, for all the shit I put you through, right? He was a boss's mate and became a recruiter. So yeah, good dude. Took care of me, taught me a lot. But no, so my tours in recruiting were Atlanta, Ohio, where I was in Cleveland, and then I was in Toledo, and then went to New Orleans, where I unfortunately met Matt Johnson.
Worst day of your life.
Yeah, I went to New Orleans, where I was.
I can relate. I know that guy too.
Yeah, I was in Meridian, Mississippi, which ended up being a blessing in disguise, because when I was there, I met two guys that are like their family to this day. A guy named Sean Sant, who was actually a dog handler. Did a lot of downrange tours, and then a guy named Bob Spar, who was a medic, a corpsman in the Navy, and did some downrange deployments. So I built a relationship with those guys. Still talk to them to this day. But after that, I went to the good old schoolhouse, where I was there forever. They actually let me be in charge of the schoolhouse, which was absolutely fucking insane. And then finished up my career in North Carolina, where I went to be the assistant chief recruiter, and kind of help run a command with some people who are a lot smarter than me. And then ended up, I should still be in the Navy. I had 2 years left on my contract and decided to retire a little earlier. The grass is definitely greener. I'm glad I did. And that's kind of where I'm at now. But really, my dad's talking shit. Said he drove my ass to California in a 2-door Civic. It was a fucking hell of a drive, right? But
Here's the question. You just told everybody that somebody let you run the schoolhouse. That means that you taught all the recruiters, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're at right now. No wonder they're trying to recall everybody.
Right.
Well, and somebody just said it, but it's true. So Mark Yates is on here. He was the commanding officer at the schoolhouse, and I put that dude through some shit. I'm surprised that dude's still breathing. But probably one of the best skippers and mentors I've ever served with. Like, I don't like a lot of officers, a bunch of cake eating bastards, but this guy was a real dude, right? He took care of me and definitely kept me from I guess getting thrown out the Navy or beating up somebody or getting my ass kicked because I have a big mouth.
Probably all of it.
Yeah, probably all of it. Yeah. But ended up retiring and staying here. I live in Pensacola, Florida area, Milton. So I definitely am enjoying retirement, but I had a lot of fun, man. It's bittersweet, being out of the Navy. I still miss it. I still talk to guys. There's a guy who I think he's on there, a guy named Ren Bevins. I met this guy. He was building my pool, and I walked outside, and he was like, "Oh, senior chief." And I was like, "Hey, you're Navy?" He's like, "I'm in the reserves. I'm a bosun's mate, and I was always wanting to get back on active duty." And long story short, a long process. We ended up getting him back on active duty. He's actually headed to recruiter of the year. Like, he's a stud in Carolina, but he's headed to New Orleans to work for my boy Kerry Levy out there in New Orleans. So I expect big things from him. So that's kind of the come from a long line of military veterans. My dad served. Both of my brothers served in the Army. They definitely didn't have the ASVAB scores to get to the Navy. So they took the easy route out, right? Instead of retesting and shit. And, they had GEDs and felony charges and shit. My brother White Mike, definitely, like, they snuck him through the cracks. But no, come from a long line of veterans and men in my family who served. So definitely proud of that. I know I joke about it a lot, but it really changed my life. I remember right before I went to basic, right before I left for basic, I was hanging out with a bunch of knuckleheads in Columbus, Georgia, and I had guys that were telling me, "Don't go. You're fucking up. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't join." And I had a guy pull me aside who was like, "Hey, man, these guys." My dad told me the same shit, and I thought he was crazy then. He's crazy now, but I thought he was really crazy then. He was like, "Go do your thing. The people you're hanging out with will be doing the same shit when you get back that they're doing right now." And I was like, "Nah, they won't." To this day, probably when I go back to Columbus, somebody's like, "Bro, let me get $5. Can you put $5 on my tank? You know what I mean? Can I borrow some money?" But they're all doing the same shit. So it was a blessing in disguise. It got me out of some pretty tough spots. Just from living in Jacksonville, hanging out with knuckleheads in Jacksonville. Ty knows. Baby, the west side, baby. It was the best side, right?
I was from the beaches. So.
Yeah, are you now? Okay.
Yeah.
But Columbus, Georgia, and I came from a good home, came from a good family. My mom and dad, been married. How old am I? And it was a shotgun wedding, probably because I did the math.
He said, "How old am I?" As soon as that happened, they got married.
Yeah, my dad. So they've been married like 44 years. But I did the math. They got married in February, and I was born in August. So I think my dad knocked my mama up way before they got married. You know what I'm saying? That's
maybe he just knew.
I know what's going on here, right?
He was like, there's no way there's not a kid coming on that one. I swear to God, there's no way.
Yeah, don't judge me, right? So
we got to get married.
But I made a bunch of mistakes, man. I got in trouble. I got, had some problem with the law. They didn't like me, they profiled the shit out of me because I was short. You know what I'm saying? You know how that goes, right?
Oh, it's just because you were short.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, right. So and then
accidents happen.
Yeah.
We'll just skirt that one.
Whoops.
Ouch! Right. So I think the best part of me ran out of cracking my mama's ass. I'm sure, right? That's what you're gonna say. But
I think you've been cheated.
Yeah. No, it did. It changed my life. It was a blessing in disguise. Right. So I joined. I didn't really have an option. Really didn't have any plan. I told Ty earlier that we were bullshitting. And at the time, I was the first male hero, the last name Hero. And my dad can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was the only male in my family to ever graduate high school. Right.
You were the first male hero
to graduate high school.
Oh, graduate high school.
Yeah. My dad got his GED in the service. My brothers, but so I graduated, thought I had fucking arrived. I'm like, "I've arrived, baby. What's next?" My dad was like, "The door, motherfucker." Like, you ain't laying up in this house not doing shit. So I went and joined the Navy, and it really did change my life.
This sounds very familiar.
Yeah. I had a really, really good career. I mean, I made senior chief. Making chief was a blessing. I was just hoping to make E6 and make first class when I was in, just so I could retire eventually. And it really worked out. Even recruiting, looking back, it wasn't my first choice. And then even when I was in recruiting, I called the detailer, a guy named Joe Hampton, and was like, "Hey, buddy, where can I go? I'm good. I want out of here." And I had some medical issues, some back problems, some PTSD issues that I didn't deal with at the time, right? And he pretty much told me, like, if you can stay in recruiting, if you can. And thank God I had some good mentors and people who brought me along and were like, "Hey, like you can convert and stay in the recruiting world. So I did. And it not only did it help me then, but it catapulted me to my civilian career and what I'm doing now. So,
So
what's up, Scott? Go ahead.
I got a question, bro. Because I'm listening to you. I'm listening and I'm watching, right? And I see you like you got it all down. Bam, did this, bam, 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 bam. It's like fast.
Written down on the
man.
desk in front of him. You had to write it.
Fast.
My wife wrote it. I don't spell so
Yeah,
good.
I gotta slow you down, my brother, just a little bit. So slow you down. So tell us, like, so for people who are on our podcast trying to wonder who is this Al Hero guy, right? Because we know you're big energy, big guy, big energy, got the beard and everything. But tell us, man, a little bit about like what's your proudest moment, man? Like what is it that you want to accomplish with being here with us and that you want to put out? But even with that, like for you know what I mean? Because you can always tell somebody who's come from, you know, humble beginnings and, you know, their energy is just a little bit different, right? So for you, man, like there's something about you that makes you who you are. And a lot of people like you, man. A lot of people love you because you're just not like this loud asshole. You're a
Not
super
all the
cool
time.
dude, man. You're a genuine brother. You know what I mean? But what is it, man? Like, what is your proudest moment, man? And if there was something that you can tell the world about Al Hero that you would want them to know that they may not know about you, what is that?
Wow, that's a tough question. I've had a lot of great moments, I would think, in my career. God, let me think. So probably, golly, there's so many, Scott.
Yeah, give me one. I mean,
Doing me dirty.
Family, military. I mean, there's things. I know you got them babies, man. Beautiful kids.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm married to. So I'm married. Me and my wife been married for 22 years. We had a short break in service. I'll tell you about that in a little bit, right? I got 4 kids. My oldest, Austin, was in the Marine Corps, so he served. He was a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I get it, right? But he's currently living up in Birmingham doing his thing. I've got a 20-year-old son, Alex, who was in college playing lacrosse up in Montgomery, Alabama. I got a 16-year-old son, and I got a daughter who is the only one I really like. Like all them other dudes, they're cool, but I can make another one of them. But that's my pride and joy, right? So I got I got a tight family unit. It's been there for a lot. But if I had to pick a military moment, it'd be tough. But I would probably say making chief was probably a really, really proud moment. My pops pinned me, my kids pinned me. So that was just tremendous. Right. And then, going to Iraq with the team guys that I went to, I mean, you don't build a better bond than that. And right. we can pretend like, oh, it's about the country and we're doing it it wasn't, it had nothing to do with, being a patriot or everything we did was for the guy sitting right next to you and the guy that you knew his wife, you knew his kids, like he needs to go home. You need to go home. So being able to go down range with a group of guys that, like I said, man, you can't even put words on it, on what these guys mean and what they would do for you. And then as a person, just as a man, it was obviously the birth of my children and marrying my wife for the first and second time, right? Right. Yeah. So
which one did you cry on? The first one or the second one? The first one was like,
look, Scott,
the second one was like, I'm doing this again.
Yeah. No. So it's really hard to put into words. There's too many moments to pinpoint one, to be completely honest. Right. I wish I could.
Okay. So
but I will tell you this. I will say, Sean's on here right now. Sean Sand, I really want to give him a big shout out. So he's the guy that I was talking about earlier. He's a warrior, probably one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. I mean, hands down. Like
Sean.
You take Sean, and I'll tell you a quick story about Sean because it was crazy. So Sean was in Meridian, Mississippi with me, and he was in charge of base security. Like he ran security, right? All of it. And we had a Super Bowl party at my house one time, and somebody showed up that nobody really knew him. Like, and he was okay, but he drank a little too much and started getting a little lippy. And my wife, I don't know, I was probably taking shots or doing something crazy. My wife had asked him to leave. Well, I didn't hear any of this. And all of a sudden, I see Sean. He's like, "Hey, bro, time for you to go." And I'm like, he's like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, buddy, time for you to leave. And like, you ain't welcome here. Get out." Well, Sean, I'm asking this guy to leave, and Sean is walking towards my front door and locks the front door. And I'm like, "Sean, what's going on?" He's like, yeah, he ain't walking out of here. I was like, oh shit, it's like that. Like, he's like, he'll leave. We gonna carry him out. He's like, and if they want to call the police, I'm right here. And I was like,
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this dude right here, bro, ain't nobody to mess with. But people like him, throughout my career, having somebody who I can, he's helped me through some dark times, and me and Ty have really talked about it deep, right? And I'm open book. I've been inpatient for PTSD, breacher syndrome, PTSD, all these things that nobody likes to talk about because it's kind of taboo and you don't want to seem weak. But guys like that dude, man, were people who I could call and they'd hold your hand and walk you through a dark hour, man. And big shout out to my boy. So for sure.
Yeah. Shouts out, Sean. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Before, man, I know you want to say something, but before I let
what you guys,
man, for those who don't know, those who may have not known the importance of being pinned and stuff like that, right? Walk me through that a little bit, right? So here it is, your dad. I hear you talk about your dad a lot, right? Here it is, this man seeing you from a little boy to a man, right? Knowing that you went through everything that you went through in the Navy, to see you come out to be shaped in the way that you are, to see him walk up to you with that Chief Acres in your hand and pin you, man. Walk us through that a little bit.
you trying to make me cry, Scott? That shit ain't
I'm
gonna work, bro.
not trying to make you cry, bro. I just want you to walk us through it.
Trying
If you
to
cry, it's okay.
You gonna
Just
try
walk me
to
through that.
turn a brother in front of my friends? Right. So I'm gonna throw my dad and my mom and them on glass first. So when I graduated boot camp, their asses didn't show up. Nobody showed up to my boot camp graduation, and I'm still.
They were surprised.
Yeah, I know, right? So I pulled a punk move. I faked like I was gonna pass out because I didn't want to stand there with all these people and nobody watching me. And they put me in the back room, gave me some Kool-Aid. I sat through the whole thing, got out, and graduated. Boom, I'm done, right? So now, fast forward, I made chief. And during that time of my life, I was going through. I had just gone through a tough time with my wife. We were going through divorce essentially, and we had just got back together because she couldn't live without me, right? You see the shirt. She couldn't live without it, right? She needed some of Big Al's 2-ball cure-all, right? So so I'm going through a tough time, and I get the call, like, you made chief. I'm like, holy shit, I can't. So first person I call is obviously my wife.
Did you look at the list like 3 times?
I did, bro. They might have misspelled my name. I double check, right? So
it's easy to misspell my name. It's 2 letters.
Yeah, shit, you ain't never lied, right? So I ended up, calling my dad, and they came out for my pinning. And during the season, and I'm sure I'm giving some dirt away, but at one point you're wearing your E6 uniform, you got your crow on your sleeve, and they essentially tear that bitch off. They rip it off.
You don't belong to nobody.
Right. So what I did was I kept that sleeve, and I wrote my dad a message on that sleeve and gave it to him in my pinning. So it was definitely a good time. So it was just one of those moments where, golly, it was crazy. I remember my dad telling me, like, pretty much like, you're a better sailor than I ever was. I'm like, shit, it's because you couldn't stop fighting everybody. And my dad told me, like, I'd be high on marijuana and shrooms working on jet engines. I'm like, shit, the Navy sure has fucking changed, buddy. But for sure, just going through that, I mean, it's so emotional because you've spent 6 weeks of being an E1 all over again.
Oh yeah,
just getting pounded. Guys like John Brown treat me like shit, and like you said last week, Scott, nothing is right. Even when you're right, you're wrong, and like
right,
you get fired from being in charge, and then they give it to you back, and they beat you down, and humble you so deeply, and then build you back up to make you into a chief petty officer, to make you into the I guess the pinnacle of naval leadership, and I know some phenomenal officers, Mark Yates, Christian Stover. There's some guys out there that are phenomenal, but when you enter into that fraternity, right? I mean, it's like nothing else, right? And I'm like my brother Scott. I'm a Mason like Scott. We're on the square. So and that was impressive, and that would be my answer to your question earlier, Scott. The coolest thing I've ever done as a man and adult was I raised my father as a Mason. Normally it's the other way around. Like your dad or somebody in your family brings you through that process, right? And I had the opportunity and the honor to bring my dad through that process, right? And treat him like shit, like he did for me for 42 years, right? But no, it was an awesome feeling, man, to be in that room and be around a bunch of guys who've been through the same shit. I equate it to years, when I was in Iraq, when I was in combat, like everybody's in the same shit. We're all embracing the same suck, right? It was the same, and you build this bond and this relationship. And as a chief petty officer, and I don't remember who told me. I think it was a guy named Chris Rudolph who had told me, years down the road, enjoy that, because that's the last time it'll ever happen. The next time you make your next rank, it ain't shit. There's nothing special about it.
Right.
Somebody hands you and you're a senior chief. Congratulations, right? But that's the last time in my Navy career that I'll ever get to go through that and experience something like that. So it was big. It was a big deal.
Appreciate that, brother. Shouts out to Big Al.
Yeah, even though he just
Big
said,
Al pops.
he said you hoodwinked him.
Yeah, for sure. He hoodwinked my ass for sure.
Were you trying to get free dues? Is that why you brought him on? It was just an easy in.
Set his ass up. But no, and it's hard. Like Scott said last week, man, it's hard because there's so many people that I owe so much shit to, as a man and as a sailor and as a chief, and just where I'm at today, where I could have been. I mean, golly, I've got friends and guys that I knew that aren't here today for whatever reason, whether it was bad decisions and choices, and a lot of them were like that, right? Jail, dead, whatever it is. And then guys that Mike Carr, RIP to my brother. That dude took his own life. He was in the Navy with me and there's probably guys on this that are watching that know him. But Mike Carr was a phenomenal. Michael Yabora Carr, they called him Po Baby. He was a rapper out of Chicago. Phenomenal leader. Man, he took care of me in my young Navy career. Was like my older brother. And then he went to the Army as a warrant officer and ended up doing, I think, 7 deployments between Iraq and Afghanistan. And years later, he ended up taking his own life. And it was just it was a big shocker. It really it weighed heavy on me, just because, God, I could have been any one of us or anybody that's on this podcast at any time. So, there's so many people that I would love to be like, this person. I don't have there's not enough time in the day, probably not enough time in the rest of my life to thank and show appreciation for the people that got me to where I'm at and helped me along the way, for sure.
For sure. Well, we appreciate that, man. And we're at our halftime point. I think we got to pay a couple of the bills along the way, but we just it was really important, man, that you got on here with us. Originally, we were thinking about maybe it was going to be me, Matt, and Ty, and then it's like Al was like he was going to do, man. No, man, he's got to come. Like it wouldn't make any sense for it to be any other way. Like we belong in the same pod, man. It's all 4 of us. I mean, we're at the last one because you were the last one to introduce yourself. But I'm gonna give Ty a chance and Matt as well to just say why, brothers, is this podcast important to us? I don't know if we got a chance to all put that out, but before we pay our bills, we want to just go round turbo that.
I'll start real quick. Because, and I think we've mentioned it before, and I'll be really brief with it. I'm a fast talker anyway, so I was a recruiter. I can get it out, right? But what it boils down to is we were in the service, and we spent most of my life, I was in the military, right? And then I got out, and Matt mentioned it in a podcast 2 podcasts ago. Like I didn't feel like I had a purpose. Like I was going to work, making a paycheck, I'm punching the time clock. It feels good, but I didn't feel like I was serving like I felt like I was called to do, or I didn't feel like I was meeting, doing what I need to be doing, right? So this podcast gives me the opportunity to stay connected to all my brothers and sisters in arms, no matter what branch they were in, right? My first Mar brothers, all these guys, my CBs. It lets me stay connected, and it lets me give a voice to other veterans out there, right? Because it might be our podcast, Triple Threat, but it's a veteran podcast. This is for everybody to get on and air out what they want and get stuff off their chest. But it lets me feel connected back to the part of my life that I spent so much time in and dedicated, and my family sacrificed so much of their lives to get me to where I'm at. So for me, it's being connected to a veteran community, and it sounds cliche, but something bigger than what I am, or bigger than what I can do by myself. If it wasn't for you 3, I don't have the technical knowledge to do any of this shit, right? I got to call Matt, like, bro, how do I take this text message? How do I withdraw this email, right? So this gives me a springboard and gives me a sounding box to be able to express, really how I feel and what's going on.
Well, man, we love you, bro. We're honored and happy that you're with us, man. It wouldn't be the same without you. So, hey, I hope we all get out from this what we hope, and I'm sure we will, man. I see the connections happening already. Big Ty, you know what I'm saying? I know you're the quiet man on board for the most part, man. You observe it and watch things, but why is this important to you, brother?
Well, I was as you asked that question, I pulled out this book. So I've got this book that I write in quite often, and so I got a bunch of heroes in the military. I'm just going to name them because I'll make my point in a second. Quentin Smith, Brandon Hughes, Chris Barnes, Lonnie Lochner, Corsh Bullock, Kevin Walsh, Michael Corbacero, George T. Armstrong, Jesse Husband, Jesse Brewster, Terry Coker, Michelle Callahan, Rich Woodring. I mean, these are all people that I served with. Robert Dawson, Jeremy Johnson. So because I had such good leaders when I was growing up, every time I got promoted, I was deployed. So I remember it has a very distinct memory. So because of all those 4, 5, 6, 7 that I was, promoted in front of those people, I want to make sure that the people that served in the generations after me have someone to look up to, have a sounding board, just find out about some shit that may be going on. That's why I do it, because of all those people before me. I remember thinking to myself, these guys are freaking amazing in the military. The planning, the operations, the tactical knowledge, things that I picked up and have become a part of me, become part of who I am. I want to be able to have the next generation have a place to hear these things. I want them to hear those stories. Everybody on that list right there, consider yourself invited as a guest on the podcast, because
Absolutely
they helped shape my military career, which helped me meet you guys, which I know I don't talk that much, but when I do, I will talk for 3 hours. So, but yeah, that's why I do this.
Appreciate you, brother, man. Love you, man.
Yep, absolutely.
Big
Back
Matt,
to engineering now.
Money Matt, the man.
Well, I mean,
hey Matt, before you jump in, I just want to give a shout out to Shelly Covert's on the podcast watching us. She's kind of our work.
Dang,
Make sure she
he didn't pay his internet bill.
Yeah, he kind of froze up on us a little bit.
Well, what he was gonna say is she works with us at where we work now, me, Scott, now. Actually, though, I think she's probably hanging out somewhere, like on a vacation.
Right.
Maybe.
Shouts out.
Actually, she's gonna work hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Shouts out to Shelly.
See, Shelly knows his Wi-Fi sucks.
First of all, Shelly,
but look,
my neighbors. I'm hooked to my neighbor's shit. Okay.
Yeah, we know you stole it, but the Wi-Fi doesn't suck when you were telling your story, so that's what's important, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It never go out when you're telling your story.
Absolutely.
You know what? And look, speaking of Shelly, real fast. You know what? She hasn't been in the military, but she would have been a shit hot chief, bro. I'm telling you, because she's good people. Shout out to Shelly, man. I love her, man. Work with her. She's always takes care of us, man. She reminds me of a sister in the mess. So glad that she was able to tune in. But go ahead, man. It's on you, dog.
Well, no, I was going to say, I mean, the biggest reason to do this is what everybody's already said, right? At the end of the day, if you ever served in the military long enough, you realize really quick that it's not about you anymore. Like, you can do a whole bunch of things and you can say that it was all about you, but at the end of that, there's something that has to come from it, right? And what comes from it is you're preparing the next generation of people to do what we did before. We've talked about it before. Everybody thought that we were going nowhere as a country when everybody that's on here right now in this podcast came of age, basically, right? And so sometimes you try to say that for the others, but I think the biggest thing for me is there's a lot of people out there that they have a lot to say, right? And they don't get to do it all the time. And a lot of people won't listen to them because for whatever reason, they think they're just talking crazy or they're just, complaining all the time. And, I get it. A lot of times when you hear veterans speak, it sounds like complaining, but really what they're trying to do sometimes is give you some knowledge about how things work and what's important to them. So doing something like this allows us to bring those guys on, give them their voice, give them their outlet, allow them to say things, allow them to bring out what's important to them and get other people to realize and see all the people that are out there making it possible for us to sit here in this room and do this podcast and allow millions of other people to do the same thing, right? It's a free country, but it's only a free country for a reason. And so the more people we can introduce everyone to that helped make it possible, the better the day is going to be. for sure.
Oh,
Easy day, as you Navy guys like to say.
yeah.
That
Yep.
actually became part of my lexicon late in my career. Probably like the last 10 years. That's how I would hear that from the Navy guys all the time. Easy day, Cobb. Easy day.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, everybody else got to go. Scott, what about you?
Hey, mine, man, is simple. I've always wanted to be some kind of entertainment from the time I was young. I thought I was going to be a rapper, but stuff that happens with rappers is rough. But I do know without a shadow of a doubt, man, that the Navy saved my life. I know that I wouldn't be here. I would be locked up or dead. I know for sure had I didn't join the military. Both of my best friends, one was doing 93 years in prison, the other one's doing 64. I knew where I was going. I knew where I was heading. But I also was able to see so many things in the Navy that's changed me and developed me and made me into the person I am today. And having an avenue to reach back and help out whenever I can, or just be able to put out information for somebody out there who may look or feel like I feel, to let them know that it's okay to do something bigger than yourself, because I think that we all need a piece of that. And then also, for 20 years, the military has been my home. For me to be able to do a podcast with people who, that I'm used to, that makes me feel like home, because I know genuinely how good of people you all are. This is the best way for me to do it. Why do it by myself when I can, use the resources and touch bases with people that I know that may have the answers for the answers that I don't have. You know what I mean? So we can bring it out to a broader plethora of people. So this is why I do it, man. And this is great. I love it. You know what I
It's
mean?
good time. Good time. So I think before all that, I guess it's time to pay the bills, huh, Ty? So we need to bring some
Absolutely.
stuff up, recognize some people, say thank you to all those that are helping us out. So just like we talked about last week, I just want everybody to know that part of the podcast is a lot of people that are veteran owned helping us out. So Got Your Six is one of those companies. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. For them, the biggest thing is first responders and veterans. What they do is, they make shirts, we give back to nonprofits, and we're just out there to help people. The same thing that this podcast is built for. So in September, every year around 9/11, which this year, very, very fortunately, it's going to be on 9/11, we're doing our second annual golf outing. That golf outing is going to support the Project Zero Alliance out of Houston, Texas. Their whole mission is to offer, mental health counseling and getaways for veterans and first responders, to allow them to be able to get around like-minded people and get to do what we're doing with all of you right here, right now, tonight. They get to do it in a little bit of a more intimate setting where they can actually work with each other to get through some of those hard times. And so that golf tournament's all about them. We're still looking for sponsors. We're looking for teams. If you want to play or you just want to donate, you guys direct message us, look at the gotyoursixculture.com. You can get on there and get a hold of us, but anything that you can do to help, we appreciate it. And like I said, last year we were able to give that organization $12,000, which ultimately helped them bring staffed psychiatrists on staff to allow them to be able to give those veterans and first responders free outlets. And so what we're trying to do is double that this year and give them more. So the more help you guys can give, the more we really appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, so that's still me. All right. So if you don't know,
Why not?
we are all going to be at the Friendly Fire Comedy Tour this Saturday, and
My tickets.
I got mine,
special
baby.
treat for everybody that's in the room. The guy that does stuntmans will be doing them at the American Legion this Saturday. So if you want to come see one in person, Al Hero will be in the house, coming all the way in from Florida. But we're going to go over there. We want to support this comedy tour. It's going to be a good time. If you're in the area, you haven't bought your tickets yet, they're selling out fast. It's just a great way to support veterans in any way that you know how. And what better way than to go laugh?
Absolutely, I agree. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Matt, go ahead.
All good, all good. So this is going to be at American Legion Post 654. Everybody can see the address there on Campbell Road in Houston, Texas. If you have questions about the show, you can, again, reach out to us. We'll give you all the answers we can. But, again, join us if you can. It's going to be a good night. Laughing is always the cure to a lot of great things.
And Matt, I seen you got probably you, but yeah, when we get to the point about advertising, I seen a couple guys on here that have posted. You can advertise with us. Chris Lucas, the chef, he owns a food truck. He's a veteran, just got his retirement papers. So guys like you, man, reach out to me, brother. We'll get you on here. We'll advertise your little food truck. You can go bring us some of them wings and some wings and things over here. We'll be good to go.
For sure. Moving down to the Project Zero, these are the guys that got your sixes supporting in the second annual golf tournament. Again, I can't talk enough about what these guys do for veterans. There's a lot of organizations out there that will take veterans and do a lot of different things. The thing I like about these guys is all you have to do is get there. Once you get there, you're 100% taken care of. The event's on them, the food's on them, the place to live is on them for that weekend. They're starting to do things with families now. The biggest thing is just getting there. And so what I really want to portray to people with the Project Zero is they are a very good organization that if you just need to talk to somebody, reach out to them. Go to their website, projzero.com. You can see their events that you see on the screen here. You can message them. They can get you in touch with someone that can help you out. You can connect with us. We'll get you connected with them. But you can see they've got a whole bunch of fishing trips coming up. They've got their overlanding in Colorado that they do every year coming up. Great events for veterans to be involved with. And, they're always looking for volunteers. But more importantly, they're actually always looking for veterans to go out and be a part of these events. And all you have to do to qualify is been a veteran or a first responder. So check them out and sign up if you're willing, interested in going to any of these events on the screen.
Hey, Matt,
quick note.
Could you break down Project Zero a little bit, how it works? Like, essentially, if you get yourself there, everything else is covered, correct?
Yeah. So basically what happens is when you go to their website, they've got these events that everybody can see on the screen. For instance, they're going to the Palo Duro Challenge in Palo Duro Canyon, Texas in September. So what'll happen is they have that event that's going on. If you go to their website, they have a sign-up portion on there. If you're a veteran or first responder, or what makes me smile the most is if a family member of a veteran or first responder knows they need a little bit of help, they'll jump on there, they'll give that person's information, or you can give your own information. And then within a day, 24 hours, Project Zero is reaching out to you. They're telling you, hey, we got your information. They'll call you. They'll talk to you about the event, let you know what's going on. And the key there is they tell you, we need you to get here. But once you get here, everything's on us. And by the way, they do carpool. So if people are driving from where you're at locally, don't think that you have to, get out there all on your own if you just don't have those means. A lot of times they have people that are driving that way and they'll pick you up and take you out, because what it's really all about is the fellowship and being around people that are just like you, right? A lot of us will go talk to people that'll tell us that things that we think are things we've done, they feel like, could be issues or problems, or there's things you need to do to get better, right? A lot of veterans hear that when they get out. But the problem is that a year before, they were celebrated for that because it's what they did to protect the country. So you can get around some people that are like you to kind of give you the business that you got when you were in, telling you like, it'll be all right. You just need to pick it up and keep on moving. And so being around those people that understand where you're coming from is the best therapy on the planet. And they offer that for you guys. So
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
What'd you have, Scott?
Oh, I was just gonna let you know. Lucas said his truck is not small. He don't have a little truck. He's got a big truck.
Oh, you're saying that shit's on white, Chris? That's what we're doing? That's how we're doing it, bro? Your truck's bigger than mine. Your truck's bigger than mine. I know it is. It's okay. Hey, by the way, my boy Chris, he's on the square too, Scott. He's one of us. He's a brother.
I see. Well, he's got a big truck. He's a brother. I know. Carry those big trucks around.
All right, July's reading list is of course borderline. The last episode of Mayans was last night. This guy is on there. He's a border patrol guy deployed with the Rangers, and his book's coming out here in November. So that's what's on the reading list this month. And I'll tell you, just from whether it's the people that we've met on here that are doing all these programs, or just getting out yourself and going to see some music or something like that, get out there, see DJ Royalty, get out there and see, the Kaleidoscope Project. I mean, it's just good to get out there. It's going to be fun to do this Friendly Fire comedy tour that's coming to town. I'm really excited to see the four of us in one room, because we've not been able to do that yet. That's
going to be live.
We're going to be there in support of, a combat veteran, the Friendly Fire comedy tour. It's going to be fun. So let me try to get to the actual sponsor slide real quick so Scott can go. Give me 1 second.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Hey, while you're doing that, Ty, I want to give a shout out to, looks like Reptiles and Samurai. This vet served from 83 to 86. He was in the Navy when ships were wood and men were steel. Like that's real shit. That's real shit right there. Hats off to you, brother.
Yeah.
All right. I think now I got the right slides.
For sure. We already talked about Got Your Six culture. Here's one thing, though. I want to tell everybody we've had a lot of questions on this podcast about how you can support us and help us, right? We don't want you to send us money. We don't want you to do that. We'll be okay there. But Got Your Six Culture offers co-branded shirts with organizations like Project Zero, another one called G300 Outdoors, and we recently partnered up with a canine unit here locally in Houston, Texas, to be able to help officers get shirts. So when you go check that website out and you see those co-branded designs, 25% goes to those organizations. And then there's a big clearance sale right now because they're working on a lot of new stuff that's coming out. So they're just kind of letting everything else go. So if you're interested in a shirt, jump out there, check it out. And we would be more than happy to outfit you for the summer.
Yeah, I love these shirts. It's I usually have one on every day. So
Hey, that's me, the DJ Royalty. Hey, just real quick, if you need some DJ services, whatever it is, it's a pool party, private party, stripper party, whatever you're trying to do, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? I can do it all. Anybody who's partied with DJ Royalty, we don't have a good time. I've never had a complaint or not a good time. But if you're looking for some DJ entertainment, you need an MC, look at me. It's your man, DJ Royalty, and the place to be. There goes the website right there. It's www.godjroyalty.com. Our pricing and everything is on there. Let's get it right. You know what I'm saying? It's right there for you.
Well, real quick, before we get to that one, I just want everybody to know at the golf tournament, if you really want to see what DJ Royalty can do for you, all I'm going to say is he's going to be offering up some crazy stuff over there. So check out the golf tournament. Come out and see him.
Hey, Scott, can you fix my credit score? Can you do that?
Well, if dancing is going to get you the credit score up, I can get you there.
He said you could fix a lot of problems. I'm just trying to get my credit score.
Some things just aren't to be fixed. You know what I mean?
That's all right. I'll put that shit in my kids' names. We're good.
Yeah. Also, R&B Realty Group. If you're looking to buy, sell, rent, lease, anything that you need to do in real estate, you got R&B Realty Group can help you out with all your realty needs. So look us up, hit us up, and we'll be happy to help you move and groove into your next location. Make your next space be your best space. R&B Realty Group. Yes, sir. So look, we cannot. Hey, we got some unfinished business. You see, I got my chain on. I
was waiting, Scott.
It's that time.
Where's your girl at? Where's your girl at?
She might have got scared. She ain't in there today. But that's okay. She can come back. We ain't even need it. Go, Ty. You had a question to poll last week.
Yeah,
we got to get into it. We're going to get into it today because we didn't, you know what I'm saying? But before we even do that, I want to give a shout out to my man Al Hero, bro. This was about you today, man. I want to give you your flowers, man. We love you, bro. I can't express how excited I was that you wanted to be on the crew with us. We love your energy. It's not going to be the same without you. We know what you bring to the table. I know who you are as a man. I know who you are as a leader. I know who you are as a brother on both sides. All, you know what I mean, on everything, man. And this is just awesome having you with us, man. So for everybody out there, if you didn't catch the previous ones, we did talk about Ty, we talked about Matt, we talked about myself, and now we got my man Al Hero on here. So we brought out the whole Triple Threat Vet podcast cast. And when we come in next week, it's on and cracking. So you know what I'm saying? We went through all the tangibles that we needed to. We getting live and we getting straight to it next week. So if you on here, I see that right now. There's 20 plus people on here. You got to tune in next week because this kind of stuff is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to bring out. But without further ado, Ty, what is the question that we have to answer from last week while I'm swagged up today?
Are we doing the hip hop or group? Or are we doing the top 5 MCs?
No. It's group today.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do
group. It's group because if we get into top 5, that's going to be a whole show because there's going to be some stuff going down when we talk about individual.
We might break up. We might break up like Jodeci did. We might break up, bro.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? We got
break up now.
We got Shelly in the house. Shelly knows a little thing or two about some music. We're going to talk about this group. Can you pull back up that bull crap list that somebody put out in order?
I actually deleted it. Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Man, they had who they had.
All right, so look, so if we're waiting for the list to come up so that you can start to get into it and start moving, we talked about last week that you guys are going to bring in your top 5. So Scott, we're going to start with you. Let's go with your top 5. List them out. Tell us what you want to tell us about them, and then we'll let Al go next. And we're going to let Ty shut that one down at the end. So let's see what you got, DJ.
All right. And we're talking groups. My top 5. This is hip hop, right? This is hip hop. This is not R&B. This is hip hop. Right?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Number 1 for me have to be Outkast. That's what's going down. Outkast got to be number 1 for you know the reason. Andre 3000 is the best rapper. He's out there, right? But then you can't have Andre without Big Boy. Like they're one and the same. Like they just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Rocky Road ice cream. You can't take the peanuts or the marshmallows out. That whole thing is that's delicious, right? So I got to go. Number 1 got to be Outkast. My number 2 spot. Ooh, man, this gonna get some people. This gonna make some people feel a kind of way. But again, it goes into your plethora of knowing a group. My number 2 group of all time, NWA. I can say that with my chest out. NWA is real deal with NWA. Now this is where it gets shady because then it gets a little bit crazy. But I'm old school. Man. Houdini. People don't forget about Houdini, but friends. How many of us have them? Friends.
Not Matt Johnson.
Depend on. Let's be friends. Yeah.
I'm just glad you guys let me tag along. That's all.
So there we go. Houdini, man. Houdini took me through so much, man. So many times. Tribe Called Quest. Man, come on, man. Tribe Called Quest is in the Tribe Called Quest is in the building. And then
Carrie. Look at Carrie.
Hot
Carrie's
boys.
But look,
You've been drinking that New Orleans Kool-Aid for a long time.
Hey, Carrie Levy is my man. That's my little big brother. That's my little tall brother. I can't. Again, right before I joined the Navy, man, my favorite album was that Master P, the Ghetto Dope, man. The 5 they was killing it, man. Maybe make crack like this. Come on, man. But can they go to number 5? Ooh, I don't know if they can go to number 5. I don't know if they can get to number 5 spot. And I feel like I'm missing somebody, man, because I was really gonna feed off of y'all's energy, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. But when we go group,
well, we purposely made you go first.
Scott, you're missing the greatest of all time, bro.
UGK.
They in there too. 8 Ball, MJG, UGK, Wu-Tang. Where's
there's
Wu
a lot of them,
list?
man.
Where's
but
the Wu on your list?
I'm gonna be for real with you, bro. I'm gonna be for real with you. I wasn't no Wu-Tang fan. The only reason I like Method Man.
That's my favorite of all time.
But this is the thing. I just had this thing with the beat just going dun 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 dun, and that was it. And it's like I'm the philosophical. I don't go die about. Man, you saying all these big old words. I can't do that. Talk to me about how I'm gonna get through these streets, man. So, golly, man, my 5th spot, man. It's hard to say that 5th one as a group. But if I had to say, if I gotta go to a group, and I feel like I'm missing somebody, man, I really
3-6, baby, 3-6 Mafia. Project Pat in the group, bro.
You know what? Hey,
Project,
Max,
I still
Run DMC.
no, Max. Yep, Max helped me. Max, shout out to my man Max, Big Dog Max.
Yeah, for sure.
Run DMC. You got to think about it, man. I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Such the MCs to call me to burn my kingdom. You must use fire, and I won't stop rocking till I retire. Now, dun, 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 dun. Come on, when songs come on and they hit your soul like that, man. Come on, Peter Piper pecked pickle and run rhymes. Humpty Dumpty fell down. This is our time. Jack was nimble, what nimble, and he was quick. Come on, when you. It's there. Shout out to my man Max. Thank you for helping me. I'm gonna put Run DMC right there. And I'm leaving.
So, Scott, I'm gonna tell you right now. I asked Becky the same question today. We were sitting in here. I said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna talk about today." I'm gonna tell you right now. Her list is your list.
That's what I'm saying. Shouts out to Becky. Becky's
I'm
in the
telling
house.
you. She started rattling them off. The only one that I added on the list that you put on today was a Tribe Called Quest. I was like, they got to be there.
Yeah, Tribe Called Quest got to be there, man.
Yeah.
Five Dog, shout out 5 Dog, rest in peace, 5 Dog. It's just times for me. You know what I'm saying? This eras for me, it's not even necessarily about the actual group because all of those ones that you guys said are great, UGK and everything. But I'm talking about groups that got me through, man.
R&B Realty Group. They asked where's Naughty by Nature.
Oh, but they in there. But when you say top, when you say top, I don't know. I don't know if they can.
Someone's sleeping on the couch tonight.
So that's
Being
Scott's
low down,
list.
That's me. That's
All right,
me.
Al, let's go. What you got?
Outcast, number 1, hands down.
Okay.
I'm going, and I was a big Wu fan, so I'm going Wu-Tang number 2.
Okay.
I'm going UGK number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big Southern rap guy, right? So 8-Ball, MJG, and then Run DMC.
Okay.
That's my list. 3-6 is but there's so many, but like you said, those are mine. Those are the ones that, like, I mean, like, damn, I remember.
Oh, Eric,
I know.
Rakim.
I seen Anthony say that, and I was like, you know, he's on.
Y'all see Ty shaking his finger.
But this
I
the
said
only
I'm about
thing-
to end the argument right
The only
now.
thing with Eric being Rakim, you got to understand that's really not a group because Rakim is the only one who was rapping on that.
Yeah,
he was the only one that's rapping. You know
That's
what I'm saying? That's like saying Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince because Fresh Prince was the only one that was rapping. So Rakim goes up on my MC list.
Yes,
but as a group, I'm talking about you gotta go through a rotation of different people rapping in that thing.
It's hard. I almost need a top 10 because there's so many.
Yeah, there's so many.
get
Top 5 is
5.
hard. You only get 5.
Only get 5.
I like your 5, Al. I'm with you. I like your 5.
I mean, when we once we get to like the artist, I mean, damn, you're going to be like,
the artist gonna hit.
Every fist fight I was ever in high school, that dude was bumping into even if I lost,
you know what I mean?
which was a lot. You know what I mean?
So y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the whole time y'all was talking, Ty kept shaking his finger because he said he's about to walk in here and wipe the floor with you guys.
Let's go, Ty. Give it to me.
Yeah, he's already shaking it. He said it's going down right now.
The reason I was shaking my finger is because what Anthony Jones says. I realized when he said that this is like the top 5 group or duo. So I should have probably, since it's billed as Eric B and Rakim, I feel like I'm doing a disservice now to Eric B and Rakim by them not being on my list, but they are not on my list. So that is a bad omission.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 5-1, and I'm hoping that some of the people back in Jacksonville in Kentucky can probably attest to some of these because some of y'all might not know who these groups are.
I'm about to you gonna get the test right now. I'm about to get my black card. You might get it. Depending on what you do.
I'm sure you're gonna be fine. You'll be just fine with this.
I'm trying to find my black card.
You'll probably be good with this.
I'm trying to find my black card that I can give to you.
I'm sure. How we used to tell me how we used to chill in the Ville. How we used to chill in the Ville has got to be on there.
Hey, if we go by songs now, most sentimental or favorite songs, yeah, I like that. Okay, number 5 of my best rap group or duo, Arrested Development.
Everybody.
Yeah,
still to this day, those guys perform amazingly.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Roots.
Oh,
it's because of the wide genre of music they play. The Roots is the best band in the world to me. Right, and then you got Black Thought, that's the best freestyle rapper in the history of freaking mankind.
Okay,
so The Roots.
Okay.
Number 3, the pillar of this whole list, Run DMC. That's the first rap record I heard back in 1985. I think I was 9 or 10 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the first rap record that I heard or I owned. I probably heard stuff on the radio, but that's the first rap record I owned.
Yeah, that's the best because they crossed it over, man. They crossed over rock and roll and rap, man. Run
That's
DMC,
what I'm saying. Yeah. My mom's favorite group or my mom's favorite rock group was Aerosmith.
Right.
So
Walk This Way came out.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it.
Forget about it. You know,
man.
It's ridiculous. All right, number 2, Matt, you may not know who this is or you might, but Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Why would I not know who that is?
Hey, shout out to Cleveland, baby. East 99.
Time out, Ty. I'm glad you said that.
First of the month.
I'm gonna give you your black card.
My bad, Matt. You
I'm
know,
gonna give you your black card just for that.
I am impressed.
That's who I was missing because I know when we were on here last week, nobody said Bone Thugs and Harmony. But bro, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I'm with Ty. I forgot him too, bro.
The first of the month, man.
It's the first of the month. Wake up.
Wake up.
Crossroads. Busy Bone made us. Hey, Scott. Busy Bone made us light skinned.
Right.
Good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No doubt. And then
Ghetto Boys.
Back to number 1, Outkast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all day long, Atlanta music is my favorite. Ludacris is probably my favorite rapper of all time, but we'll save that for another list.
Damn, bro.
Oh, he's foreshadowing. Look at him.
Yeah. But
Ty,
I'm talking like Outkast, Goody
Yeah.
Mob,
I was about to say
from
Anthony
Atlanta.
Jones said Ghetto Boys. I forgot about Ghetto Boys. I
Yeah,
forgot about Goody
Ghetto
Mob. I
Boy.
mean, Goody
look,
Mob had some.
hey,
Bro.
Al, look who's in here. Look who's in here. You see her?
Oh, my
Marcia's in here.
favorite person, my nemesis. Hey,
Marcia, you can't say Eminem and we talking about groups. Stop.
hey,
my girl, hey,
my girl can say whatever she
He
wants.
means D12.
My girl can say whatever she wants because I'm not gonna piss her off again. Okay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
All
You
right.
better not let her catch you on the wrong
So
side.
Ty,
of it now.
you saying your number one was who?
Outcast.
All right,
Oh,
so we got
Outkast.
three outcasts
Outkast.
for number one. Okay, we're looking
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
Matt.
call it 4.
Matt, we're gonna
Look,
'cause-
I'm just gonna tell you right now. So I heard everything y'all said. So Outcast is number 1
okay,
for sure.
okay,
Number 2, I had Run DMC.
okay,
Number 3, Tribe Called Quest.
okay,
Right.
Ooh.
Number 4, I would make Arrested Development because I love those dudes.
okay.
And then 5, I was trying to figure out who to run with, and so I mean NWA. So that's the 5 for me.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
Crucial, somebody said crucial conflict. Hey,
Yes,
hey,
But Crucial
Conflict,
Conflict had a couple of
Hey, that's some
tracks,
bangers.
man. Crucial Conflict had a couple of good tracks, but I couldn't say that Crucial Conflict took me through an era of time. You know what I'm saying?
No, they sounded too much
MC.
like when they came out and sounded like Bone, so I couldn't.
Look,
I
Becky's
couldn't
proud
go
of me.
with
She
it.
said, "Look
Becky,
at you."
bro, Matt,
I just repeated what she
I'm
told
proud
me,
of you,
guys.
bro.
I'm saying.
proud of you. I'm proud of you, and you got a damn good wife, bro. 'Cause
Hey,
Becky
listen.
knows what the hell she's talking about for sure.
Ty almost fell out of his chair when I said it was the first of the month because he did just say, like, I know you probably don't know these dudes, right? You don't know them. I know what the first of the month is. Got to go get that check.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. But these are the kind of things that we do on the show. Now,
Yeah.
shouts out to the people who are inside the party. Is there anybody inside of the chat that has a 5 listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put them in there, put it up on the screen so we can see it?
Will Carmona.
All right,
All right, Chief Carmona's got Wu Tang, Outkast, Run DMC, Airbnb, Rakim, Bone, and Harmony. What's the best song before rolling out on patrol? Security gun missions.
All right, so Will, I just got a question
Bombs
for
over
Will.
Baghdad.
But this is
Yeah,
it.
bombs
That's
over
it.
Baghdad.
That's
There you
it,
go.
baby.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Oh, come on. But this
Man,
is the
Warren
thing,
G.
Will.
Warren G. had the best song ever. Let's go.
But this is the thing, though, Will. You saying Eric B and Rakim because I'm sure that Rakim is one of your favorite rappers. But when you say group, what did Eric B do? Because he wasn't the best scratching. He wasn't like the best DJ. You know what I'm saying? If you was going to do that, I would say Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff, because Jazzy Jeff is the most dopest DJ that's pretty much out there, bro. Between him and Kid Capri, you have to YouTube Jazzy Jeff and watch what Jazzy Jeff does. Jazzy Jeff is one of the top DJs ever with the skill set that man can do. He created the Transformer, man. You know what I'm saying? I follow DJs. Kid Capri and DJ Jazzy Jeff are my favorites, but yeah, but when you say Eric B and Rakim, it's because you say them names together, but it's really just Rakim. Right?
Jam Master
Eric B's never rap. Boogie Down Productions will always stay paid. Oh, we'll take the wackest rhymes and make them better.
Well, I had no idea when we started this podcast, even tonight when we started, that we were going to start singing together. So, hey, there's a first for everything.
Yeah. All right. So look, I'll start it off and y'all tell me the end. Me and you, your
mama and your cousin
two.
Hey,
on the strip on both.
Coming up, slam a Cadillac. No.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. So that's what it is. So hey, again, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna do this again. We gotta do these top 5, and we can't just do hip hop. We're gonna do some rock and roll because y'all don't understand, man. Tears for Fears. Don't let me go there. Don't let me hit you. Don't let you hear.
Some sticks. Yeah. Don't play with me.
Tears for Fears just played at Cynthia Woods this last Sunday.
How many people showed up?
I don't know. My wife wanted to go.
I would have came.
I would have went with you, Scott.
I would have went.
I had my lighter, all that. I throw my drawers on the stage that whole night.
Salt, pepper. So if we do that, we would have to do a female one, a female rap group. There you go. Then you're gonna have them salt and peppers and stuff in there for sure.
Al's got a good idea for a show. I don't know if we want to let that out.
Public Enemy.
This
He's
is
got a good idea for a show.
Public Enemy, man.
Public Enemy.
Oh, you're wrong,
man,
bro.
There,
Public
that's
Enemy.
a good one.
No, I'm with you, Ty. I got a good idea for a show. I think we should do it. I think we should be like, hey, we want to do some convincing, but I think we should do. My idea is a wife podcast. One episode, have our wives come on here.
Yeah,
Let's go.
But check this out. So look, Marcia says, number 1, Run DMC. 2, the Fat Boys. Oh, I like it. 3, Outkast. 4, NWA, and 5, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I feel that because
Hey, bro, that's a hard list, bro.
Absolutely.
Her list is pretty legit.
That's a solid
Yeah,
list.
but
Any
she
list
made
that's
that
got Bone
list
Thugs
after
and
she
Harmony
told
on it
y'all
is a
she was
solid
weak on the
list.
list.
Hey, you know what? Check this out. Real talk. So all 3 of the Fat Boys have passed away. I was here and I was doing something on the computer when I found out that the last one, Prince Marky D, passed away, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I couldn't stop myself from tearing up, man. I watched Crush Groove. My sister will tell you, man, Crush Groove is like one of my favorite movies of all time because it's got LL Cool J, Run DMC, Curtis Blow, the Fat Boys, all of them in it. And it's when they first started, right? It tells the story of how it all started off. And for whatever reason, man, they don't sell the album anymore. But Prince Marky D made a CD without the other 2 Fat Boys because, the Human Beatbox, he died first, and then the other one died second. But he had made a CD and just really talked about what the Fat Boys were going through and like how he didn't necessarily agree with wearing the funny fat clothes and stuff like that. He didn't agree with it, but it was selling, right? He felt the kind of way about being presented as just fat, sloppy guys that rap. You know what I'm saying? But his CD, man, I remember I had just graduated and it got me through. I was working at this little barbecue place, man. I used to listen to that CD every day on my way to work. And it's just the stuff that he said, man, I just was able to relate because I had such a passion for hip hop at that time. So, man, rest in peace to all the Fat Boys. Marcia, appreciate you for putting that out because the Fat Boys is one of my near and dear.
I love you too, Marcia. I love you too, girl. all day.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all forgot Scott. Y'all forgot my boy Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, baby. I mean,
Yeah. Good vibrations. Let's go.
Good vibrations. You know what I'm saying?
Shit. We need to do an R&B list, like groups, best R&B groups. Like, oh, bro.
Right.
I think I made all my kids to some Jodeci albums. I'm just being real. You know what I mean? Damn. Bro. Woo, bro. Damn, Blackstreet. Oh my God, I'll put some Blackstreet on right now and make love to everybody in this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'll say mint condition.
Everybody's getting pregnant.
Mint condition.
Oh, the Beastie Boys,
bruh. We can't forget about the Beastie Boys.
Oh man.
No, you know what's funny, Scott? Is there actually would be on my top 5 rock group too.
Yeah. The Beastie Boys is nasty, man.
Hey, my boy Maxwell looks scary as shit in his picture. He like,
let me tell you.
He got that good beard though. He don't eat ass. He got the all white.
Max the big dog, man. Max the big dog. We was in Dubai, man. He just rode around with me. That was my security, man.
Oh, I'm about to say, if I'm ever anywhere he's at, I'm gonna talk all the shit because he's got me.
That's Mad Max. Mad Max, the Army guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we had a good time, man. He kept calling me, "Hey, Chief." Once we talked military stuff, he kept calling me Chief, and we've been cool. He come by here, man, and you know what I'm saying? We had to put the smack down on him and his wife on spades. But just to be honest, they whooped us in Dubai because my wife was just throwing out cards. I think she had a little bit too much to drink.
I'm about to say, it sounds like she was drinking. She was cutting you. She was cutting Scott's ass, probably.
Yeah, she was cutting me out. What's up, Tim? I see you, big dog.
In the house.
Yeah. So
that's why I don't play spades or dominoes. For one, I can't count too well. So I'm like 5 switching bitches, and that's all I know. I don't know any. I don't know. I'm 5, bitch. Oh, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't really know.
Hey,
man.
You know what? We're coming to the time as the end of the show.
Hold on. See, you can't do that. You can't do that. Right when Renee goes, for real. For real. You're going to throw me out like that?
Scott's like, all right, guys,
it's time to go. But listen here, again, we appreciate y'all coming out, supporting us, man, chilling out with us. We love you guys, man. This is the energy that we need. This is the Triple Threat Vets podcast with my man, Matt J, DJ Royalty, my man Al Hero, who we saw today, and the man behind all the technology, my man Ty Cobb. We are the Triple Threat Vets. We have the option to drive it to the paint, pass it off to another member of the crew, or, you know what I'm saying, we're just going to pump fake or just take it to you. However we going to give it to you, we're going to give it to you. We're the Triple Threat Vets, in the place to be. I'm your man, DJ Royalty. This is the crew, and we're going to do what we do. We love y'all. Is there any last words from you, my man Al?
I want to shout out my boy Mike Stroud. He popped in the last minute. My boy Mike Stroud. Hey, that was my Divo. Me and Matt's Divo. That's my boy right there.
Hey, Al, how many times you go to Lakudos?
I went to Kudos a bunch with my boy.
My man Ty, is there anything that you want to give to the people before we leave out of here?
No, man. Next formation next Thursday at 8
Going
p.m.
down.
That's the next formation.
My man Matt, where you at? The man with the green hat. He's just gonna give
What do
you
you
a
want me
wink
to say?
and let you know what he think. You know how it is. Hey,
Well, I mean, you
and
know,
as always, I love you. I'm your man DJ Royalty. This
Roll
is the
Tide.
Triple Threat Vet Podcast. Until next week, y'all be safe. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else, and we'll see you again.